Hello guys, we are here today to go through the difficult problem of coding Emacs Lisp. Welcome to another episode of Xah Talk Show. We have some technical difficulties before earlier on, and but you guys are here and we start all over. So today's 2020 September 5th, 11 o'clock in the morning San Francisco time. And we are going to code Emacs Lisp, dearly beloved. So what we are going to do, let me announce what we're gonna do. Okay, so you can see I'm going to insert a HR, horizontal break. So you see there's a horizontal break and show in browser, and you can see there is a horizontal break. Let's put two of them. You can see two of them now, but in the buffer I want to show them as a line, as a line like this. Okay, you see, display them as a line. So that is what we are going to do today. Okay, and let's start to code Emacs Lisp. So far so good, everyone. Good morning, Bart, and good morning, Ripper. Okay, let me double check one more time. Am I doing good? I'm doing good. Video check, audio check. Okay, so let's start to code Emacs Lisp. So we want to show this as a line. So what we do, first of all, you go to search for Xah Emacs tutorial text properties. So the way we are going to do it is using text properties. Now in the past two videos or three, we done several coding using text properties. So what they are is basically in Emacs, every text in a buffer, you can attach a property list to the text. Any region of the text, you can attach a property list, and this list is basically a list of key value pairs. So you could attach, for example, these few words. You can say you attach your text property and you say you want the face to be red, key value pairs. Then when Emacs display this buffer, it will show it as red. This is how syntax coloring is done. For example, this red, for example, this blue, that's syntax coloring. Okay, so text properties. So that is how we're gonna do. So let's start a new buffer, and let's define a function, and let's call this function Xah. Let's say show HR as line. So that's a command name. By the way, so yesterday I learned a trick from Jeff, the host of Emacs SF meetup. If you search the web, Emacs SF meetup, you'll find it. It's a Emacs San Francisco group, and we are doing he's doing online meetup now about every 2 weeks. So yesterday I learned a tip from him where how you can use text properties to make Emacs show some certain text as a line or something else, or even a picture entirely. So that is a fantastic feature, and I'm going to explore it today. I haven't done this before, so you are going to look at me struggle about. So anyway, so back to the code. So you can see we started a we started a template function, show HR as line, and docstring, or the all important docstring. Okay, display. Now my habit is always to write the specification before I begin to code. That is my habit. Now different programmers, often I think most programmers, they just start to code, but documentation is all important, and that's what I do. So I write the spec before I code. So this docstring will say display HR tag as a line in current buffer. Okay, then give it a version and give it today's date, my convention. Okay, let's begin the code. So how do we begin to do it? Well, first of all, you need, in order to attach text properties, you need to find the beginning and end position of something. Okay, let's go back to, so this is my talk show page. You can see showing browser, magnify. So back to the eLisp code. So we need to find, we need to find the beginning and end position of all these HR in the buffer. Okay, so back to here. So let's begin. Go to character point minimum. Point minimum is the beginning of buffer. That point minimum returns the position of the minimal position, which is usually 1. Okay, so go to the beginning of buffer, then search forward. We are going to search for this HR string. We want to find the position. Okay, so optional, bound, nil, no error, true, count, we don't care. So now once you search forward, move the cursor, once Emacs found it, it will place it at the end. So how do we, so right now our problem is to find the position of this beginning and end position of this string. So there is a way, match data. Okay, wait, match data, I believe. Oh, match beginning, there it is. Match beginning, yeah. Match end, yeah. So match beginning and match end is what we want. So let's introduce two variables, P1 and P2. That's position 1 and position 2. And here set P1 equals to match beginning. Now match beginning 1. Okay, match beginning 0. So what does that mean? So you can look up the documentation for match beginning. You call describe function, and you'll see the documentation for the match beginning function. So match beginning 0 basically means the entire matched string. Okay, so that's the beginning. So that returns the beginning position, basically here. The beginning location of the HR. So similarly, we want to set point 2 to the match end 0. Okay, so now we got point. Prettify the code. Okay, so now we got, so far so good. Yes. Okay, now we got beginning and end position. Now we want to add text properties to this region. Good morning, Bart. Sometimes the spec evolves during development. Yeah, right. Well, yeah, you can always rewrite your spec. Good morning, Cortez. Good morning, Jetwa. Okay, so let's continue our code. So we got the beginning and end position of this HR string in a buffer. Then what to do next? What to do next is we want to add a text property. So attach a key value pair to this region of text. So how do you do that? You say put text properties, I think. No. Okay, so I don't remember. So let's look at put text properties. Yeah, so that's the thing you want to add. Okay, copy it. Go back to the buffer, go back to the Lisp code. So wait. Yeah, so that's the code. Put text property. So then you give it, the first two argument is the beginning position and end position. You tell Emacs that between this position, the text, you want to add some text properties. So the key will be font lock face. Okay, let's just say face. The key will be face. You tell Emacs the face, and the value will be this is interesting part. Okay, so for now let's just say red, foreground red. Okay, let's say background red, just to make it some interesting. Background red. Okay, so you can see background red. Okay, prettify the code. So is that all? I think that's all. So evaluate the buffer, Now go back to the HTML. Okay, go back to the HTML. We are going to code the code. After we code the code, this HR should be red. Okay, what's the code name? What's the command name? Show HR as line. Okay, meta x show HR as line. Do it. Okay, error. Symbols value as variable is void. P1. Okay, so we got error. So symbols value as variable is void. Of course, because we are calling P1, P2 here, but however the block for the variable P1, P2, it's outside of it. So we need to move this line inside of it, inside this let block. Okay, there. Prettify the code, eval the buffer, back to the HTML, code the command, show HR as line, do it. Did it not work? Did it work? No, it did not work. Why is that? I don't know. Let's go to the messages buffer. Is there any error? It doesn't say. The message buffer is mum. Okay, so in that case, let's go back to the Lisp code. Maybe the background is wrong. Let's not foreground. Let's just try foreground, because that's the code for my website, and that should be correct. So maybe for the background you have some other names that's why it doesn't work. So okay, so let's see, is that good? Eval the code, back to the HTML code, call the command, show HR as line. It did not work. Okay, why is that? Something is wrong. Okay, maybe it should be font lock face. The key should be font lock face, not face, because I was changing it on a whim. Maybe I shouldn't do that. By the way, face should also be valid, but maybe I forgot something or something. So okay, this part should be font lock face. Okay, eval the buffer, go back to the HTML, call the command, do it. Red, fantastic. Now it's red. Okay, now that's not what we want. You see, we are just doing this to show that our code actually works. We added a text property to this region, but what we really want is to have this HR showing us a bunch of lines. So we can do that easily. So you see here, when we add a text property, we are saying use the key font lock face, and the value will be foreground red, a Lisp expression. Instead of that, what we should do actually is let me show you here. Okay, what we should do is what we should do. Hold on a second. Let's prettify the code. Okay, what we should do is we not font lock face. We should say display. Okay, display. That's a key. So when you add a text property to a region, now remember, text property is a bunch of key value pairs. Now some of the keys can be arbitrary. For example, the key can be a honey, can be a bee, can be anything. You add to the text property, and then you can get those property names and do something about it. But however, certain property names has built-in meaning in Emacs, in Emacs Lisp. For example, so you go to my text, you go to my tutorial, just search for Xah Emacs Lisp text properties. Then you scroll down, you can see some of these keys are meaningful to Emacs: font lock face, syntax table, key maps. Okay, I'm not going to explain them. Well, font lock face and face is for when you want to change the appearance of some text. That's what you do. Syntax table is for if you want to change the cursor movement behavior for example, comments or end of word, you can use that. Key map is for example, if your cursor is on a link in some mod, for example, you press enter, it will open the link in the browser. How does that work? Usually it's because of a key map text property. When you press enter, when your cursor is on a URL, and Emacs, is the mod may have, it added a key map to that region. So Emacs will check that key map and do whatever that key says. It might say, if you press enter, open a file open a link in a browser. So that's what key map is for. So you see, text properties is key value pairs, and some of the keys has built-in meaning in Emacs. So you can see the official documentation. There's a bunch more. So you have category, you have face. Here's the official Emacs Lisp manual. Category, face, font lock face, mouse face, fontify, display. There are quite a few. What we want to do is to show that HR as a extra text, as a line, or even a picture. So in order to do that, what we want to use is this display property. Okay, so the display key. So it says this property activates various features that change the way text is displayed. For example, it can make text appear taller or shorter, higher or lower, wider or narrow, or replace with an image. That's what we need. Okay, so let's look at the detail. Text properties. Emacs Lisp documentation is 900 pages, so you have a lot to read. I have a lot to read. Okay, the display properties, that's what we're gonna use. So back to our code, Emacs Lisp code. We are going to add a display property here, so you can see. Now, what shall the value be? Wait. So what should the value be? Let's check the documentation. Okay, let's look at the comments. Any comments? Alan and Danielle and Weasel. Hi guys. Okay, questions and comments just posted. Okay, I'll read it periodically. Okay, so what are we going to add to the, how do we make this work? So we need to add the display property. So I have to read. Okay. Now last time in 2 or 3 episodes ago, there are some Lisp experts in my group. They suggest me things. That's fantastic. So if you guys know the answer, just tell me. Okay. So let's read the display property. Okay. The display text property or overlay property is used to insert images into text and to control other aspects of how text displays. Okay. The value of the display property should be a display specification, okay, or a list or vector containing several display specifications. Okay. Display specifications in the same display property value generally apply in parallel to the text they cover. Okay. If several sources, overlay, and or text properties specify values for the display property, only one of the values takes effect. Okay, following the rules of get char property. So that's order kind of priority. Okay, they are talking about priority. If you have overlap, properties, like one part says red, the other part says blue. So anyway, the rest of this section describes several kinds of display specifications and what they mean. Okay, I think I glanced at this a little bit yesterday. The one we want to use to make it display as a line is the other display specs. Display an image adjusting the height, spacing, and other properties of text. Okay, I think that's what we need. So let's look at string. Okay, I think that's what we want. String. Display string instead of the text that has this property. That's what we want. Recursive display specifications are not supported. Okay, so anyway, string is what we want. Let's try it. Let's be interactive and let's try it. So we want to say wait, how does it say? What? Okay, so the value should be a string. Oh, the value it should be easy. It's just a string. Okay, add a string. Let's add a bunch of string. Let's say that. Okay, eval buffer. Now back to the HTML. Close it, reopen it, magnify. You can see here's the HR. Then we're gonna code the code. Once we code the code, it should be a line. Let's see if it works. Do it. Oh yeah, fantastic. Successful. Okay, so it turns out pretty easy. We are successful. Now, this is not done yet because, for example, let's say if we have another HR, you see it doesn't display. You see, let's add another HR. You see, they are not showing us a line because, why? Because in our code, remember we searched for it. Then, we searched for it, then we showed them as a line. But however, it stops right there. It doesn't check the next occurrence. So what we need is actually a loop. Okay, let's add a loop. While loop. Okay. While we search for word, if it's found, it will return I think it returns a position. So position, it's true. So while this is found, then we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something here. Okay. Then we're gonna do, this is what we're gonna do. Grab those block of code, put it here, prettify the code. That's what we're gonna do. That's prettify. That's what we're gonna do. So we have a while loop here. While, search for it, and if it's found, we set point P1, P2, and actually this will work, I'm sure. Let's just run it. Okay, run it. Back to the HTML, code the command. So remember, you see we have two HR here. Code the command, do it. Oh, it moved the cursor to the bottom. That's no good. So we need to fix that. But let's scroll up. There it is. You see, we got several lines. So it's success. Okay, now let's continue to fix the code. We don't want to move the cursor to the bottom. Okay, so in order to do that, you want to save excursion. So save excursion will save the cursor position, where they are. Once the command is done, it will return the cursor to where they are. Okay, so let's see. So we need to put this block of code inside there. Okay, and also we don't need the P1 and P2 anymore, do we? Okay, it doesn't hurt to have them there. So anyway, so we want, okay, so we don't need this red anymore. Let's just display a line. We don't want it red. Okay, and let's make these lines, let's make 50 of them. Okay, so how do you insert 50 lines? You press Ctrl U and type 50 and press the character, whatever character you want. So in this case, we are going to type underscore. There it is. Okay, eval the buffer, go back to HTML code, close it, save it, yes, reopen it, magnify a few times, and page down. You can see our HR here. Now, so we call the command show HR as line, do it, fantastic. So actually we are done. Actually this is fantastic. So okay, so you see, so this is the code. So what you do is that you put this code in your Emacs init. Then every time you open the HTML, you call the code. You call the command. Then you'll display that. Yeah, but this is tedious. We want it automatic. So in order to do that, you can add a mod. I mean, you can add a hook. For example, let's add a hook. Okay. So for example, add hook. Okay, add hook. So what is a hook? You just search for Xah Emacs hook. You will find my tutorial about it. But basically, a hook in Emacs is kind of an event. Okay, in other programming, in JavaScript, for example, in other environments, it's usually called an event. A hook is kind of an event handler. So what we want to do is that whenever this mod, Xah HTML mod, is activated, you want to run this command, this function. So the event is whenever Xah HTML mod is activated, the event handler is this function. So in Emacs, the way you do that is, first of all, you find out what's a hook name. Hook name is kind of like the event name. So the event name is going to be, by convention, it's a mod name appended with a hook. For example, the mod name for this mod. Let me tell you. Okay, I can tell you directly. The hook will be Xah -html -mod-hook. That's the hook name, which is kind of like the event name. Then the function is just our function, show hr as line. So what this means is that whenever Xah HTML mod is run, then it will run this function. Okay, so evaluate the buffer, go to HTML, close it. Do I want to save? Yes. Reopen it. Now it works. You see, they already show us a line because the hook ran. The hook just ran. Okay, fantastic. I think that is about it today. I mean, how long have I been talking? Let's see. We can now, so the main thing actually is done. 28 minutes. Fantastic. So I think maybe we shut down. Or you guys have any questions? We can chat random for 10 minutes. So basically, yeah, let's, so post your comments or questions. Okay. So basically, this is the code. It's already done. Now, since I have my own. So if you want this to work in your Emacs, you can add a hook. What you can do is you can do this. Just add it to HTML mod hook. Actually, you want to add mhtml mod hook. In Emacs there are several. There are at least two HTML mod built in. If you are using Emacs 27 or 26, the default mod when you open a file ending in .html is the mhtml mod. Okay. For example, let's go back to my mod. Okay. Let's go back to my HTML file. Here I'm at my HTML file. I can call the command. I can say mhtml mod. Okay, enter. So that's mhtml mod. That's the default Emacs mod. Hold on a second. Close it. Reopen it. Okay. Magnify. Wait. Hold on a second. Let's go to fundamental mod. MetaX fundamental mod. Okay, what I'm trying to show you is that You see, all these are still showing us a line because I guess because our code already added this property, so the property is not removed. So even if you switch to some other mod, you still see them as a line because the text property is already there. It's not being removed. So let's remove the hook. Okay, so let's remove the hook. Okay. Okay, quit Emacs. Quit, save, save. Let's restart Emacs. So we are already done. We are about done informatic. Today is pretty good, I think. Learning about Emacs Lisp. So about showing HR as a line. So we are back in our code. Open a new window. Call Xah start command log mod. So in this window, you'll see all my commands as I move cursor or whatever commands and keys. And now we open another buffer. Go to Xah Talk Show HTML. Go to today's talk show HTML. Now it's opening in fundamental mod. Why is that? Close it. Open it again. Okay. So now it's open right in Xah HTML mod. So you can see the HR there. Now go back to the Lisp. So if you want this to work in your HTML, so what you do is you add this line. Okay, so for example, you can call describe variable and type mhtml mod hook, and it will come up the documentation. You see, mhtml mod hook is a variable defined in mhtml mod. Its value is nil because we haven't added anything to it yet. So here, comment this out. So mhtml mod, that's a new mod since built in Emacs 26, beginning in Emacs 26. So what's new in that mod? That mod, the mhtml mod, allows you to have a mixed code of CSS, JavaScript, and HTML in one single file. This is very common today. So Emacs, actually the Emacs dev struggled for like 5 or 10 years to come up with this multi-syntax mod. So that's mhtml mod. Okay, that's new. So use it. It's good. So if you want this code, if you want the HR displayed as a line, here's what you do. So first of all, let's try this in mhtml mod. So let's call it mhtml mod. Okay, you see it doesn't display HR as a line. But now we run this code, then it will. Okay, run the code, back to HTML. Let's call mhtml mod again. Call it. You see, now it's lines. Okay, so that's what you do. That's how you can have this code work for you. Just put this in your Emacs init file. Now for me, I use Xah HTML mod, which I wrote from scratch myself. So in order for my code to work for me, I don't need a hook. What I really should do is I should put this code inside Xah HTML mod. Okay, so we can do that easy. Just copy it. Okay, copy it and describe key space h. That's my key for activating Xah HTML mod here. So now tap to the link, go to it. So we are at my Xah HTML mod source code. So all we have to do, magnify, all we have to do is copy the code here. Go back to the code, copy this code, copy back to the Xah HTML mod, and basically paste it in, make a backup. Then in the main body of the code, we just call the command. we just call the command somewhere here. Okay, let's say here. Let's call it. You see, that should work. Okay. Close Emacs, quit Emacs, save it, save. Restart Emacs, and that's it for today. We run it, we start Emacs again. If that works, fantastic. Thank you guys for watching. If you like my tutorials, go buy it. Okay, support me. So now let's go back to the HTML mod. Let's go to the talk show. Open the talk show. You see, those are showing us lines. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Bye guys.